What if you could survive a nanosecond on the sun? Imagine for a moment you are standing outside on a freezing winter day, your hands numb from shoveling snow, and suddenly the thought crosses your mind. What if you could just teleport to the surface of the sun for the tiniest fraction of time, a billionth of a second, just long enough to warm yourself but not long enough to burn? Would it work? Would your body be instantly vaporized? Or would you simply come back refreshed as if you had touched the universe's most powerful heater? The surface of the sun, known as the photosphere, burns at around 5,800 Kelvin, far hotter than anything on Earth. Yet compared to the blazing interior of the star, it is almost modest. If you stood there for minutes, you would be reduced to nothing but atoms. But in a single nanosecond, barely long enough for light to travel a foot, the story changes. In that vanishingly small slice of time, your skin would only absorb about 10 to the minus 5 joules of heat per square centimeter. For context, holding your finger over the blue flame of a butane lighter for a full second exposes it to about 5 joules per square centimeter, enough to cause a painful second-degree burn. Compared to that, your instant visit to the sun's surface would feel like almost nothing at all. You would not even have time to register the heat. What would you notice instead? The flood of photons into your eyes. A nanosecond on the sun would push a burst of light into your retina, about a microjoule in energy, which is similar to quickly glancing at a bright screen and blinking immediately. But here's the paradox. Even though your body only experienced a nanosecond of light, your brain would not process it until 30 million nanoseconds later, or about 30 milliseconds. From your perspective, it would feel like a longer flash, fading slowly as your retinal cells quieted down. So strangely enough, the experience of the sun would outlast your time on it, stretching what was only a billionth of a second into something your mind could register. But that's only if you were on the surface. What if you miscalculated? Meta, here is the paradox again. A nanosecond on the surface of the sun is survivable, almost trivial, while a nanosecond inside the sun is fatal beyond measure. The same span of time, the same measure of existence, but two utterly opposite outcomes depending on where you land. It shows us something important about heat, energy, and time. Heat is not just about how high the temperature is, but also how long you are exposed to it. Icarus in the Greek legend didn't fall because he got close to the sun, he fell because he lingered too long. The wax of his wings melted not from the nearness, but from the sustained exposure. Time, not just heat, sealed his fate. So what does this mean for us here, far from the sun? Perhaps it is a reminder that sometimes it is not the intensity of what we face that breaks us, but the length of time we spend in it. A brief challenge, a flash of discomfort, a fleeting pain. These we can endure, and sometimes even learn from. But when we linger too long in harmful places, harmful thoughts, or harmful habits, that is when damage becomes irreversible. So if you could spend a nanosecond on the sun, you would live to tell the tale. You would see a flash, perhaps feel a strange afterglow, but you would come back unchanged. The danger, as in life, comes when moments stretch beyond their limits, when exposure turns to permanence, when curiosity turns into carelessness. Here's a challenge for the next 24 hours. Think about one area of your life where you are spending too much time in a kind of heat that does not serve you. Maybe it is endless scrolling through social media. Maybe it is dwelling on old regrets. Maybe it is staying in a relationship or a job that drains you. Ask yourself, what if I limited this exposure to just a moment, a nanosecond in the scale of my day, and then stepped away? What if I could learn the lesson without letting it burn me? If you agree with this perspective, leave a comment with a 1. If you see it differently, share your thoughts with a 0. And if this thought experiment made you pause,